cling to the familiar, even if it's the cycle of our own undoing, a twisted comfort in predictable pain. The whisper of failure becomes a lullaby. This is just who you are, it murmurs, soothing your ambition to sleep. Generations of defeat etched into your DNA, an inherited curse you wear like a second skin. The path of least resistance is often the path of inevitable regression, a slow slide into the known abyss. You watch others fall, you fall in too, and the world confirms this is simply your destined role. The inertia of the pattern is crushing, a river of inevitability dragging you further downstream. Small daily surrenders, micro-failures, cement the narrative until it feels unbreakable. The darkest lie isn't from others, but the one you tell yourself. It's simply easier to stay put. A quiet despair settles, a resignation so deep it becomes a part of your very bone marrow. Your world shrinks, defined by the boundaries of what you've always believed you couldn't be. But then, a flicker, a dangerous, almost sacrilegious thought dares to ignite in the darkness. A vision pierces the gloom, not of escape, but of a complete, terrifying reinvention. The responsibility of a new beginning crashes down, heavier than any failure ever was. This seed of defiance, small and sharp, threatens to tear apart the carefully constructed piece of your pain. A quiet rage ignites against the inherited narrative, a burning NO to your assigned fate. The first step is agony, a betrayal of every comfortable habit, every comforting excuse. A tremor of hope, fragile and terrifying, immediately met by the brutal force of ingrained fear. Your ego screams, "Who do you think you are? You're nothing without your familiar failures." Daring to imagine a different outcome feels like a sacrilege, a direct challenge to your own history. The decision is stark: break the pattern or be broken by the crushing weight of the past. The war begins within. Every fiber of your being, every comfortable rut screams for surrender. Old habits are not merely broken. They must be brutally excised, torn from your very soul. The battle against self-sabotage is relentless, a shadow boxing match against your own worst enemy. Doubts become monstrous entities, whispering your deepest insecurities, your most primal fears. Isolation grows as your path deviates. Your old world doesn't recognize you anymore. You sacrifice familiar comforts, small pleasures, severing ties to the chains disguised as gifts. The sheer exhaustion of constant internal vigilance, every moment a conscious fight against regression. Rewriting your personal story, word by painful word, carving out a new identity from the rubble. The loneliness of being the only one who sees the brokenness, and the agonizing truth of possibility. Guts aren't just strength. They're the absolute, visceral will to endure the unthinkable. Then, the world pushes back. Others demand you stay in your familiar, comfortable box. Friends, family, colleagues, their own comfort challenged by your inconvenient defiance. The accusations sting. You've changed, you're arrogant now, you think you're better. Misunderstanding morphs into resentment, then sabotage, disguised as concern or advice. They prefer the familiar, even if that familiarity means witnessing your continued failure. Cutting ties becomes a surgical strike to your own heart, severing connections you once cherished. The cost of their disapproval is a heavy emotional toll, each judgment a fresh wound. Standing alone, a solitary figure against the relentless tide of expectation and tradition. Every success you forge is a silent accusation to those left behind, a testament to their inaction. The courage required to be seen as the villain in their story, to burn bridges for your own liberation. The pattern doesn't just break, it shatters with a deafening, violent force. Every failure now stings doubly, a betrayal not just of effort, but of the sacred new hope. The fear of slipping back is a constant, suffocating shadow, always lurking at your heels. Building new neural pathways, one painful repetition, one conscious redirection at a time. Days of utter exhaustion, muscles screaming from the effort of simply existing differently. The hunger for validation, often unfulfilled, a constant gnawing at your core. Pushing past the point of wanting to quit, beyond the edge of what you thought possible. Redefining your identity, brick by bloody brick, dismantling the old self to construct the new. What else must you give up? What other sacred cows must you slaughter to truly escape? The brutal truth: you cannot take everyone with you. Some are too deeply woven into the pattern. The scars of this brutal battle are not always visible, etched deep into your psyche. A hypervigilance remains, forever expecting the old pattern to rear its ugly head. The phantom limb pain of lost relationships, the ache of connections severed for your freedom. A deep, unsettling questioning of everything, stripping away layers of comfort and belief. The world feels different, sharper, more exposed, stripped of the old illusions. Learning to trust your own instincts, a new muscle you painstakingly forge through countless errors. The quiet burden of being the exception, the one who escaped, the one who dared to dream. No longer belonging anywhere, a perpetual outsider, standing between two worlds you can't reconcile. The cost of freedom is often profound loneliness, a stark, silent companion. The emotional exhaustion of constant self-reinvention, a never-ending cycle of becoming. But then, a breakthrough. A moment of undeniable shift, of genuine solid ground. The pattern broken, the chain severed, a visceral, undeniable reality. A deep breath of air never tasted before, clean and sharp, yet strangely unnerving. The terror of success, its own unfamiliar landscape, its own uncharted dangers. Now the weight of steep maintaining the new path, of vigilance for the old shadows. The responsibility to not fall back, to not regress, is a heavier burden than failing ever was. Learning to live with this new, hard-won self, a stranger in your own skin, yet profoundly yours. The ghost of your old self, still lurking in the shadows, a constant reminder of who you once were. This isn't peace. It's a new, more potent war against complacency, against the pull of the past. The quiet pride, forged in fire and tears, a testament to the brutal strength you discovered. The quiet cost, the person you had to stop being, irrevocably left behind in the ruins of the past. The path's not taken, the compromises made. Ghosts of potential selves haunt your triumphs. You are forever changed, irrevocably altered, a new being forged in the crucible of defiance. The memory of the cycle, a dark compass forever, reminding you of where you came from. The bittersweet victory, paid in blood and spirit, a freedom earned with profound sacrifice. You stand on new ground, scarred but unbroken, forever a survivor of your own liberation. The terrifying freedom. What do you build now with this new terrifying power? The unending work of choosing, daily, to stay free, to not slip back into the seductive void. The pattern is broken, but the journey never ends. The battle for your soul continues, silently. This is the truth, stripped bare. The price of your transformation is paid in everything you once were.